Our dad wanted us to do the what's up, but we felt like that was completely ripping him off. But when we do that, I mean, everybody pop. Who doesn't pop when you put your head in somebody's crotch, right?
All right, so let me get this straight. Terrence, Terrell.
Actually, other way
Oh,
around.
no!
50-50, Terrell.
That's right.
Terrence.
All right.
Usually, like, because people can't tell us apart, I'll say just say T, and at least you get it right when you say T.
Right, TNT. Like, I'll get it right if I just say that the whole time, right?
Exactly. Like when we played football growing, because we played football our whole lives, we had helmets so nobody could see us. So they would just like, hey, T, come here, and they could never get it wrong.
Or they just call you by your number, is that the deal?
Or just call Hughes, last name, first name, whatever works. Anything but our real name, pretty much.
Does anyone call you Dudley?
Yeah, all the time. Dudley 2.0, Dudley Minis, whatever it is, Dudleys. Actually, growing up, when we used to go with our dad to the shows, all the wrestlers would say, hey, Dudleys. And instead of talking to our dad, they were talking to us.
Oh.
Yeah.
But do you guys want to work under the name Dudleys?
I respect where we come from, but I think we kind of want to go our own route and do our own thing. So we don't want to completely rip off the Dudleys, but we want to keep a little bit of our lineage, but not fully.
Yeah, you guys certainly pay homage to your dad, and I guess is Bubba your uncle? Yeah.
Yeah, uncle.
Uncle Bubba?
Yeah, yeah, Uncle Bubba. Yeah.
Bully Ray. Everyone calls him Bubba, right?
Yeah, pretty much. We just call them Bubs.
Really?
Bubs, yeah. What's up, Bubs? That's all we say.
So you guys pay homage to them by doing the 3D. Is that something that your dad was like, I think you guys should do this as your finisher?
At first, we didn't want to do the 3D because we didn't want to copy everything, but then Bubba pulled us aside and said, why not use the most devastating finish for tag team wrestling of all time? What other tag team finish utilizes both people like that? Yeah. And so I agreed, and then we talked about it. We tried to come up with some weird finish where it was like a double Alabama slam. It just didn't really work, so we were like, let's try the 3D. We did our first 3D in Tampa for our first show, and we got a big pop, and we're like, all right, we're going with the 3D.
When was that first show?
It was Uproar Pro Wrestling over in Tampa, 2015.
Okay.
2015, one of those, yeah.
One of those, 4 or 5 years, 3, 4 years ago, something like that. The great thing about the 3D is the reaction from the crowd. Like, what other finishing move has a reaction where the crowd is calling it before it happens?
Exactly. Our dad wanted us to do the what's up, but we felt like that was completely ripping him off. But when we do that, I mean, everybody pop. Who doesn't pop when you put your head in somebody's crotch, right? I mean, we get a pop every time with that. But we're trying to maybe just do the 3D for now, come up with some more stuff on our own. When we first started wrestling, our dad said, hey, why don't you guys wear the tie-dyes so you can get the wrestling fans familiar with who you are? And once we came up with the tie-dye, everybody called us the Dudleys, and it got them familiar. Oh, Devon's sons. Tonight, we just had a show, and we debuted our new gear that we got that's not tie-dye. It's really nice. It's got a vest. It's gold. It's got nice, tight pants. It's kind of like what Seth and them wear, the vest.
Only in wrestling are nice, tight pants a good thing.
Right.
It's funny that you say that.
Yeah. Actually, I got the idea. I seen Seth wear something similar, and I called my dad up, and I was like, hey, can you get in contact with, Seth's maker or whatever? And he said, yeah, and she made it for us, and it was sick. It was pretty good tonight. Yeah. I liked it, yeah.
So how do you, say, yeah, that's my dad, but at the same time, we kind of want to do our own thing?
Well, we didn't say it in a negative way. We just kind of said, we kind of asked him for his advice. What do you think we should do? And he basically told us, he actually told us to come out to his music, wear the tie-dye, like full 3D Dudley gimmick. And then we basically just told him it's not that we don't want to use your gimmick. How can we use it in our own way? He said, just start off with the Dudley gimmick first, and then get your foot in the door. Once people know who you are, then do your own thing. So now that's kind of what we're doing now. Now we switched up the gear, we ditched the tie-dye, so we're kind of doing our own thing now.
So how would you describe what your own thing is? What's TNT for someone who hasn't seen a TNT match?
Well, actually, we're not, to be honest, we're not the Dudley Boys, but we're kind of somewhat similar. I would say two guys, badass guys, real brawl, in-your-face tag team. We're not the Dudleys, but we're somewhat of a similar brash style like the Dudleys.
The biggest difference is you guys are actual brothers.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm sure that Bubba and Devon are actual brothers too, right?
Yeah, brothers. Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because I'll read comments sometimes. I'll see some people comment on the internet and they'll be like, "Oh, they're just copying their dad because they see us doing the tie-dye. They don't know that we fell in love with the business." I mean, we grew up during the greatest era of wrestling, the Attitude Era. So how can you not, fall in love with it? We weren't just watching it on TV. We were there live at all the shows. I mean, Madison Square Garden, The Godfather, Chris Benoit, all the greats. I was actually there when our dad powerbomb Mae Young through the table. That was like the sickest moment. So those experiences that we had, we fell in love with it, So it wasn't something we just said, oh, he does it, we're going to do it. We fell in love with the business, we trained, and now we're, still going strong.
So growing up, who were your favorite wrestlers?
I didn't have like one in particular wrestler, but I would say I liked Edge. I was a big fan of Edge.
Okay.
I could never figure out who I liked more, Austin or Rock. I felt like you want to be cool and smooth like Rock, and then sometimes you want to be a badass like Austin. But I think Austin, Rock, Edge were probably like my top three.
Terrence, what about you?
I had a lot of favorites, but my number one favorite was always Randy Orton. I loved the way his look, when he was the Legend Killer, when he was the Viper. But yeah, I had a ton of favorites. Randy Orton was definitely number one for me.
Let's remind people how old you guys are, because you've been wrestling since you were 14. How old are you guys now?
Yeah, we're 23, about to be 24 now. But
Jeez.
Yeah, we've been wrestling since we were 14. We've been around the business since we were little kids, but we didn't fully start training full time until we were 18. So once we got done with school, we moved out, picked up, and started full time from there.
And you guys are training at a pretty well-known place now, at Team 3D Academy. You've got some pretty big trainers in there. Who's been cycling through there recently?
Yeah, we get guest trainers all the time. Tommy Dreamer, Samoa Joe, all Homicide. But right now we have our main trainers, and our Florida location is Billy Gunn, Devon Dudley, and then in New York we have Tommy Dreamer and Bubba Ray and Velvet Sky.
Wow.
So 2 locations for Team 3D Academy up north and then down south.
And it was, a year or two ago when you guys got a tryout with WWE. What happened when you guys went to the Performance Center?
That was actually just like 3 months ago.
Oh my God, well there we go.
We weren't allowed to go for a WWE tryout till like later on. Actually, we got invited to the tryout. We were at WrestleMania talking, and they were like, oh, send us some tapes. We sent them our tapes, and they'd always known we wanted to wrestle. We grew up pretty much in the business, and when we sent them the tapes, I guess they were impressed with it, so they said, hey, we'll invite you guys to the tryout. Just last June 2018, we did a WWE tryout. It went phenomenal. I think it went great. We got a lot of feedback from all the trainers, and yeah, it went great.
Yeah, so what's the feedback that you guys got?
The feedback was they think that we'll do very well in a future position. They would like us to basically have like a start, like a fan base. You know what I mean? So they're suggesting maybe start out with Japan, UK, stuff like that before we start out in NXT. Because we got a lot of room to grow. Yeah, no, I was gonna say we got a lot of advice from Scotty Tuhati as far as promo wise, Mark Henry as far as character wise, how to feed off of each other. Mark Henry, Scotty, who else? So many, Matt Bloom, the head trainer over at NXT, so many guys gave us a lot of advice, just promos, how to walk, how to feed off each other, physical, all of that. So yeah, we got a lot.
I feel like it's not a matter of if you guys are going to go to WWE. It's a matter of when you guys are going to go. And after already having a tryout 3 months ago, is this something you think could happen within the next maybe 3 months, 6 months? What do you guys think?
Only time will tell. Right now, we're focusing on conquering every promotion that we step in, like here at Blueprint. Our main goal, though, is we want to go overseas to Japan. We want to go to Europe. We want to touch base pretty much all over the continent first, conquer that. That's kind of what Bubba and Devon advised for us to do, just because that's what they did. Yeah. They went to ECW, New Japan, All of that. So we kind of want to earn our stripes and all that first before we fully, get our foot in NXT. I want to go to Japan. I hear stories all the time about Japan. I hear the food's great there. I hear the women are great there. everything is great in Japan. I know they're doing some big stuff in the UK, so it sounds like overseas is the best option. We're actually in contact, through our dad with some of them, so they're saying maybe do some NXT work. Really, honestly, 2019 will be the year that everything starts. Right now, everything is kind of maybe this, maybe that, but I think 2019 will be the year where we actually say, okay, we're going here, and this is how we do it, and we're going to do it. So, yeah.
A lot of times growing up with a famous parent, you kind of go, man, I saw how that affected your life. You weren't around that often. I don't want to do that. I want to go in the complete opposite direction. What drew you guys to want to be pro wrestlers?
I'm going to say just entertaining, seeing the people's faces when my dad would come out, seeing them get entertained and how he would make people react the way he would. Seeing guys like Taker and Rock and Austin, like the Attitude Era just had so many larger than life personalities to where they made you want to pay tickets to go see them. So we were just a fan, just like anybody else that watched. I think that's really what made us. Like I was saying before, we grew up during the greatest era of wrestling, the Attitude Era. I remember all the Stone Cold pops. You know, I was there for the Stone Cold pops. Actually, I remember, you know, Rock, he does his promos live. You know, he doesn't do his promos pre-tape. I remember one time we were walking by and they were like, whoa, 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 Rock's doing a promo. And we sat there, and this is WrestleMania 17, Houston Astrodome. And they were like, you know, 70,000 people were going, Rocky, Rocky. And then he's going, finally, you know. To be there live and to see that, and then not just that, but to see the lights go out and Taker come out, all those experiences that we had. And then we have athletic backgrounds too. If it wasn't wrestling, it was going to be football. Like, we loved football. We played football from the time we were in like second grade all the way up until our senior year in high school. So we've always had an athletic background. So with the athleticism, with the passion for the business, with the passion for entertainment, because I love all entertainment, movies, stuff like that, it was just going to come together. And so at some point, our dad wasn't going to be able to say, you're not doing this, because we were going to do it either way. You know?
All right, so let's do a little bit of fantasy booking here. If you guys could wrestle any tag team of all time, who do you guys want to face off against?
Everybody always looks at us and says, well, you guys would do good against the Usos, because obviously we're both second generation, we're twins. I would like to see us versus the Dudleys, to be honest.
Okay.
I would like to see us, I mean, of course, this is a different era, a different time, but everybody says the greatest tag team, arguably, but we all believe the greatest tag team is the Road Warriors. Big guys, you know, that would have been a dream match in certain, you know, if it was matched up to times. Other than that, other tag teams like the Hardys, you know, all the greats, and then I would love to somehow, some way be involved with Randy one day. You know, it'd be cool. I was going to say, for a lot of people that don't know, we have amateur wrestling backgrounds. Yeah. So in high school, we were pretty good. I went to States. I know.
We're pretty good. I went to States.
I was all right. Bret Hart also was an amateur. So I would like to see the Hart Foundation, Owen and Bret versus us back in the day. I think that would be a pretty cool matchup as well. I don't know. Maybe even get a little brother versus brother action, you know? Oh. I see Matt and Jeff do it. Let's see what happened with us too, you know?
Every great tag team goes against each other at some point.
Yeah, eventually they always break up. And our gimmick is tables, so what about a singles, you know, tables match?
Have you guys worked each other?
No. No, we in training, you know, here and there, but never in front of a live crowd, but we'd love to. Not yet, yeah.
Okay.
We'll save that when we make money. We'll make money with it. If the price is big enough, maybe we'll save it for that time, you know?
When you guys look at the current landscape, and there's so many great tag teams right now, NXT, WWE, and all these other promotions, who do you guys have your eye on and you go, man, they're doing a great job?
A lot of people in NXT I like. Of course, I like the main roster, but I actually went to an NXT show recently, and seeing it live is completely, it's different than seeing on TV. I mean, they are really athletic. Anybody really in the NXT locker room, I'd love to get my hands on. Yeah, that'd be awesome. There's a tag team in the UK, Danny Burch, and them. I think those two, we would be able to.
He works down here all the time.
Yeah, we did some shows before he got signed, but we never actually got to touch. So I think that would be a pretty good tag, right there. Other than that, NXT, there's a couple. I know top tag teams right now. They got like who do they have? They have
AOP is a big one.
AOP. That would be a good match. AOP. Yeah. Those are some big guys. I'd love to, you know, definitely wrestle them. Street Profits. I know they're up and coming. Yeah. Maybe something with the Revival, something like that. If they're still there when, you know, we can get there. But yeah, definitely any good tag team that's doing well right now, pretty much.
Do you guys live your life by the 3 commandments?
Thou shalt not lie. Thou shalt not steal. And thou shalt not mess with the Dudleys, right? Yep, we definitely do. We tweaked it. Thou shalt not mess with TNT now. So we just tweaked it a little bit. But yeah, we still live by those commandments.
Did anyone ever think, this is so stupid, that you guys should come out to TNT where Dynamite, the theme song? That's a bad way to start. No, what theme song do you guys come out to now?
We actually come out right now to. I don't even know the name of it. It's like it's an instrumental heartbeat, but it's like more of a hip hop, kind of slow. That way we can kind of come out to a little slow, methodical walk, but something. It's an instrumental that we found that we liked. Yeah. I mean, I like all genres. I like rap. I like rock. I like all genres. If I have to think about my favorite theme songs, Oh, I love Stone Cold's theme song.
Yeah.
Something like that. Something like the Dudleys. Something that has more of a it's like a rock rap kind of mix, but it's upbeat. Something like that. Yeah.
What differentiates the two of you guys? Like, one of you must like something completely different from the other one.
I mean, first, the one thing that people always tell us apart, I don't know if you can tell now, but he has more of a mohawk. He kind of shaved it a little bit, but I always had the regular haircut. He had the mohawk. Other than the look, I would say he's more, there's Matt and there's Jeff. Well, I don't know about now because they have different characters, but back in the day, Jeff was the crazy one. Matt was the more, keeps him in control. I would say he probably keeps me more in control.
But you're the crazy one.
I wouldn't say crazy. I would say of the two, crazier, not crazy. But even so, we're twins. I'm 1 minute apart. I'm 1 minute older than him. I'm not a whole lot older, but I feel like I have an older soul where he'll do stuff to mess up, and I have to kind of hold his hand and slap his hand and kind of pick him up and teach him and tell him sometimes. So I'm a little bit more. I can kind of control him sometimes. If I need to. Yeah. I mean, our dad's usually like, who do you want to do this? And he'll be like, Terrell, because he trusts Terrell. I don't understand why. Yeah, he trusts Terrell more than me.
Can you guys like read each other's minds? That's a thing with twins. It is.
Yeah, I think we have somewhat twin telepathy. Sometimes I just give him a look and he'll know.
I mean, this whole interview, it's been like you guys been taking turns, been so courteous. It's been really good.
We're very together. Yeah, you can't. And we've always been like that. We've always been like best friends. People always ask me like, hey, do you guys ever fight? I mean, very, very small times, and it's small fights. But I would say why fight each other, fight other people. You know what I mean? I remember in high school, this was like my freshman year in high school. He tried to pick a fight with me, and my father, my mom too, they both always taught me, don't go out looking for fights, but don't be a punk either. You know what I mean? Defend yourself, and that's what I did. This guy was talking and talking. It was one of those things after like a week he was talking, and me and him it was gym class. So he picked the fight with me when we all three had the same gym class. And I remember me and him gave that look, and we were so mad, and we just started beating on him. We got suspended for that, I remember, but my dad didn't get mad at me, though. He didn't get mad at me at all. He was like, good job, you defended yourself. He said things he shouldn't have said, and you did what you had to do. So,
are you guys wrestling full-time, or do you have other jobs right now?
Yeah, well, we wrestle. We kind of do a little bit of everything. So we wrestle. I do a little bit of real estate, timeshare, insurance, things like that. Yeah. So we kind of getting our hands in everything, but right now we're trying to gear more towards wrestling full-time.
Same. You guys are working together inside and outside of the ring together?
No, we do different stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, different stuff. Yeah, we did do together too, but yeah, we want to separate a little bit now. But right now is the perfect age. We're about to be 24 in like a couple of months, so this is the age now we're actually starting to do wrestling full time. So 2019, I think it's all going to take. 2019, I think is going to be our year for wrestling. That's what I think. So I believe it. Yeah.
You predicted it, and everyone's seeing it right there. Thank you guys so much. Such a pleasure to chat with you guys.
Thank you, man.
All right. Thank you. Awesome. Really cool chat with Terrence and Terrell, and great guys. And thank you for taking the time to watch an interview from some guys who, up to this point, you probably hadn't seen a match from. But I'm imagining that after watching this interview, you're doing a little Googling, a little YouTubing, and checking out some of their recent work, because they do a pretty mean 3D. Oh, by the way, this is the new collar and elbow loser leaves town match that I was wearing during the interview. You can click the link below and use my code to get 10% off anything that Collar and Elbow sells. And I'm sure Al Snow will be very happy to learn that you did that. So I've got a prediction. I think two types of people are watching this interview. I'm posting it right now in October 2018. I think there's a lot of people who are subscribers or who are fans of the Dudley Boys who are watching this right now and kind of want to see who the next generation of great tag team wrestlers are. Then I think there's a contingent of people who are watching this in the future. You're watching this on your iPhone 27. You're driving around in your flying cars. The Browns have won the Super Bowl. Okay, let's not get crazy. The Browns aren't going to win the Super Bowl. I'm a big Browns fan, though. But I think there's some people that once TNT gets signed, you're watching this interview from 2018, and you're going, man, those guys have so much potential. And I mean, it's obvious that they have a bunch of potential. And they are certainly in with the right people as well, right? I mean, when your dad is arguably the greatest tag team wrestler of all time, I think you've got a pretty good career path. So 2018, Chris Van Vliet is looking forward to seeing Terrence and Terrell in the WWE in 2019 or 20 or 21 or whenever that happens to be. And how awesome would it be to see them go on to wrestle with the Usos. I mean, basically Dudley's 2.0 versus the Usos, second generation versus second generation. Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome. Oh, by the way, I'm driving to Orlando tomorrow, about a 3-ish hour drive to interview Rosemary, an interview I've been trying to get for a while. So I think we all know that that's going to be interesting, to say the least. If you have any questions for Rosemary, drop them below. As always, thank you for watching. If you don't subscribe already, please, why don't you? That'd be nice if you did. Since we mentioned, second generation superstars, I'm going to link to the Austin Gunn interview I did. Right there is actually his first ever wrestling interview. All right, we'll talk to you guys soon.